Okay. So how's that? Can you see that okay?
It's looking good.
Excellent. Okay, right. Hi everyone, I'm Ben Hancock, Managing Director of Oscar Acoustics. We're a family-run company in its 42nd year. We specialise in spray-applied architectural acoustic finishes from textured to the smoothest acoustic plaster available. I'm going to be discussing the serious effects on our health and well-being from excessive noise in general, but more importantly, the workplace. So first of all, let's start off with some startling facts. Noise pollution is a serious problem. The Chief Medical Officer in England says it's second only to air pollution in damaging public health, while the World Health Organization, who we've heard quite a lot of recently, highlights issues such as tinnitus, sleep disturbance, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, adverse birth outcomes, and cognitive impairment in children. 90% of people would not return to an excessively noisy restaurant, but many restaurateurs see noise as atmosphere, but it's all about calculating the correct amount of absorption to create a perfect balance for all. These restaurateurs don't realise the damage it's doing to their profits and the health of their staff who are being regularly subjected to damaging noise levels for long periods of time. The same goes for busy open plan offices, call centres, warehouses, but unfortunately, unlike customers, most employees don't have the option of not returning. So are we on the edge of something big here? A lack of knowledge by employers, putting their employees at risk. Something that could be bigger and more expensive than PPI perhaps. I certainly hope not, but it's something we do need to do something about it. So, to try and learn more about employees' knowledge of noise and the effects it's having on them, Oscar Acoustics commissioned a Noise in the Workplace survey of 2,000 UK employees across a range of different sectors. Due to the length of this presentation, I'm only going to skim quickly over a few of the questions, but there's far more information available. I'll mention that at the end. So, which of the following do you think are possible negative side effects of excess noise in your work, in your environment? So bear in mind that according to the studies by WHO, all of these are, and many just aren't aware. So you've got irritation, tiredness, poor sleep, reduced productivity, hearing damage, increased blood pressure, heart attack, diabetes, stroke, relationship breakdown, that's a big one, increased risk of hospital admission. So many people just weren't aware. So if you take stroke, for instance, only 15% were aware, and that's in millennials, 25 to 34-year-olds. When you take other age ranges, it goes down to 5 to 7%. So what's the most common way to escape noise? Our survey says 25% of us use headphones to drown out the racket, but this actually increases the issue by 9 dB. 1 in 5 of you know of colleagues missing calls or ignoring their boss. Serious stuff. So this one, question 3 was, have you ever done the following as a result of excessive noise in the workplace? So 26% of 25 to 34-year-olds, millennials, have asked to move to another desk due to noise levels. And that's compared to only 10% of 45 to 55s, and double the number of males compared to females as well, which is interesting. So the results are broadly similar for snapping at co-workers and even a superior as well. But this is where things start to get interesting. For passive-aggressive notes, you'll see sort of 5 down. It's those males between 25 and 34 years old again. The one that really blew me away was physical violence, though. You'll see a few down. You're more than 6 times more likely if you're male, and more than 10 times likely if you're 25 to 34 years old than if you were 18 to 24. Startling facts. It shows that if you're working in London, you're over 3.5 times more likely than anywhere else in the UK to leave passive-aggressive notes, and over 7 times more likely to resort to physical violence as a result of excessive noise. So not too sure what's going on in London. Maybe the tube journey has something to do with that. So given the negative effects on morale, productivity, health, employers are all over this, right? Well, a survey says 54% said their employer has taken no action at all to combat it, and 42% said that they don't even take it seriously. So if only there were building certification systems that architects and contractors could work towards when designing new workplaces. Well, here is one. The Well Building Institute, and there's no finer reference for our spray applied products than Delos, the company that founded Well Building Standard, using Sonospray FCX through their new HQ in New York. The architect's Gensler recommending the product to the client's specification team for its perfect fit with Well's building standard. As you'd expect, this building is built to the very highest standard of Well, and to achieve LEED V4 Platinum and Living Building Challenge certification. And by coincidence, global architecture and design firm Gensler also selected one of the Sonospray range for their own new European HQ at number 6 Moortown, East London, highlighting its long-term commitment to the UK. This is an outside shot just here. It's a great building, loads of light. You can see Sonospray K13 is applied directly onto the profile steel sheet. It's just above me as well. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice I'm actually not in my own office. I'm using Gensler's office as my my backdrop today. So having signed a 15-year lease, Gensler entirely reimagined the 35,000 square foot building, an opportunity which afforded the firm an unparalleled opportunity to not only design a unique workspace, but a chance to transform their processes and ways of working in order to develop in a way that is relevant to businesses and clients now and in the future. The buildings achieved a design stage assessment and interim BREEAM excellent rating, for which the Sonospray's green credentials contributed to. So our Sonospray range achieves the following for being classed as low emitting building materials, something that's very important within the Well Building Standard as well. So it's M1 classified. It's compliant with the California Department of Public Health. It's Green Guard Gold certified for indoor air quality. It's got the BREEAM rating for indoor air quality as well. It's also got an environmental product declaration in accordance with ISO 14025 and also LEEDs as well. Also, none of the materials are on the red list as well. I should at this point say a big thank you to Gensler for sharing their professional images with me. It's for this presentation, it's kind of made a big difference. I wasn't able to get good shots when I was there last. So moving to a completely agile work model, the space provides a diverse range of interconnected work settings to fully enable Gensler's 230 plus employees to create together. The building has presented Gensler with the challenge and opportunity to think about its need for optimal creative performance through smart workplace design and how the space can allow for evolution, growth and flexibility. Something I'll come back to in a moment. Flexibility is a big thing. So what is this wonder material Sonospray, I hear you ask, even though you're all on mute. Sonospray architectural acoustic finishes are high-grade recycled cellulose paper and specialist water-based adhesives. They're treated to achieve Class O and B-S1 D0 fire rating. providing significant benefits over the approved document B requirements by providing little to no smoke and absolutely no droplets, assisting in a safe escape for occupants. They also contribute to, environmentally, BREEAM, LEED, SCAR, Living Building Challenge, Passive House. They were actually used within the University of East Anglia, which at the time was dubbed the UK's greenest building. So the range can effectively lower the carbon footprint of a building by sequestering rich stores of carbon for the life of the structure or application, which is ideal for companies that they're trying to tackle their carbon footprint. RWE Power, who we did their HQ last year, they were using it in accordance with SCAR, and the Sonar Spray K13 Special was being sprayed throughout every building on the park for this reason. In fact, JLL recently published a piece in the press, very interesting, saying that green offices are more likely to bring in rent premium and less likely to sit empty. Buildings with BREEAM Very Good or higher certifications saw a rental premium of 8%. London developments with BREEAM Outstanding or Excellent ratings experienced vacancy rates of just 7% within 24 months. In comparison to those that were rated Very Good, recorded a vacancy rate of 20% within 24 months. So a big difference there. The range really lends itself to the modern flexible workspace and being used to spray entire buildings. This can be during a Cat B fit out, but increasingly we're being asked about practicality of using it as a building owner's Cat A acoustic solution for the reasons in the last slide. And we're proud to call JLL one of our clients for this reason. Spraying the original concrete slab, metal profile, rib deck is ideal as it acoustically treats and decorates the building itself. The system also gives an unparalleled level of freedom for the Cat B design and workplace layout. These pod-like structures you see in this photo here can be built and dismantled without affecting the Sonar Spray above, allowing for reconfiguration as and when required. Something we may see more of as we come out the other side of COVID-19 pandemic. If this had a mesh top, instead this pod, then it actually would have benefited from the acoustic spray above. So you wouldn't have had to have put any in the pod itself. As with this Investec project for TP Bennett and BW Workplace, the hangers and the primary Unistrut grid were all installed. Other than that, it was a completely bare soffit. So we sprayed onto the hollow rib deck, and all the beams were foil face lattice beams. And then after we sprayed onto it, unobstructed, then the rest of the M&E was installed afterwards. This sequence provided a quality finish that could be installed at an economical pace. What I really liked about this project was all the different layers. We sprayed the whole lot. In some areas, the Sonar Spray was fully exposed. In other areas, they had a suspended mesh or timber ceilings behind it. So where you had an acoustic, where you had a mesh, the Sonar Spray was acting as the acoustic engine behind those. And at any time, this project could be reconfigured with minimum disruption to the Sonar Spray itself. It's actually very, very easy to do small hand repairs as well, to the point where we can actually, whilst on site before we leave, we actually can teach one of the main contractors' labourers how to do completely invisible hand repairs, sort of a tennis ball size I could personally do in about a minute to a minute and a half. So thank you for listening to me. If you'd like to know the full results of the workplace survey, please either send me a LinkedIn invite to view our blogs, or you can find them on our website. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we regularly post beautiful professional photos of all our work. And you can subscribe to us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, where you'll find some great videos, including a new company video that we're extremely proud of. And you've also got some new product videos coming up very, very soon, some Oscar Acoustics innovations. So I hope you found it to be informative. And if you take just one thing away from my talk today, please remember, when encountering a male millennial from London, just give them a little bit more space, and for pity's sake, keep the noise down. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We've had some questions come in. One of them came in early and you've answered, which is about the composition of the material. Mm-hmm. But I've also had a question about whether or not, I'm going to ask you a couple of things and then I'll let you answer them together. Okay. Whether or not using this reduces the effect of the thermal mass of the underlying material. Another one is about, someone says, well, what are the technical acoustic features? It seems it reduces reverberation from surfaces. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Someone else has asked if it can double up as a fire-rated material for certain buildings. And then there's a question about you are kind of importing cellulose from the USA. Is this actually environmentally friendly? So would you just like to take those as one giant question?
Okay, I jotted down 3. Thermal mass fire rated from the USA, and the other one was...
That's 3, isn't it? Oh, sorry, thermal mass fire rating from the USA, and also how does it actually work in terms of, is it reducing reverberation from surfaces?
Yes, okay, right, okay. So taking that one first. Yes, what it's doing, so it's, we spray it onto the surface, and what's happening is the sound, very broadly, the sound is going into it. It's being turned from noise or sound energy into heat energy and kinetic energy, and it's kind of being dissipated in that way. So that's how it reduces reverberation. If you are spraying onto, say, all our test data is spraying onto concrete, and that's worst case. If you're spraying onto something like hollow rib deck, then you've got a little bit more material depth over the ribs. So actually, more material depth gives you more low frequency absorption. So what we're able to do is actually reduce the material depth there. If you're spraying onto profile, like above me now in the Gensler offices, we're able to go even thinner, because if you're spraying, say for instance, 20 millimeters, but over a profile, when you get to the diagonal section of the profile, actually at this point, the material is a lot deeper than 20 millimeters. So we're able to, if somebody needs a class A, what we're able to do is actually reduce that down to sort of 20 mil, even 16 mil in some cases, depending on how deep the profile is. Thermal mass, well, we have sprayed in sort of Boyd school buildings, and Boyd love concrete, and they've used it directly onto the concrete. They did the calculations and they were fine. The R value is 0.03 per millimeter for our product. Fire rating, it's Class O fire rated, but also it's got the European rating, which the approved document B needs now, and it significantly betters that. It's for a surface lining, so it's not classed as an incombustible material like a cementitious fire spray, something like that. So you wouldn't use it to coat your steelwork, if you like. And actually what we do is when we're spraying buildings where we come up to some steelwork, like above me there, what we do is we spray up to the flange of the steelwork and then we lever back slightly. And what that does is allows the flame to get to the intumescent paint. Our material is so good in a fire that what we'd actually be doing is we'd be stopping the surface of the intumescent paint from charring, which is what gives it its fire rating. And whilst it should be fine, they don't want to guarantee their product if we're kind of changing its performance in any way. And being from the USA, actually we're bringing it over in 40-foot shipping containers, which is actually one of the most environmentally sound ways of bringing something anywhere. And then, so actually it's kind of carbon neutral by the time it gets to us, and then when it goes into the building, all these environmental features just make it even more green. I've got some stuff on this, but
I'm sure you have. Thank you very much indeed. I threw a lot of questions at you in one go. I'm going to have to move on now, but thank you so much. And I would say, moving on, obviously we have had questions come in that we haven't had a chance to answer, but some of you are still asking